So welcome everybody. This is called Small Shifts, Big Wins. So after every webinar, Jason and I look at the feedback and we try to come up with topics that capture a number of different concerns. So it's not like we take one comment and we say, oh, let's do a webinar on that, right? We try to say, what's some commonalities? What are the themes? And we'll go back to the feedback from a couple of different webinars, right? We'll say we'll kind of mix it all together, and we'll kind of look at it. And we do have our own Cloverleaf GPT, so we'll kind of mush it all together and we'll put in a powerful prompt. And sometimes it'll bring up topics that we've already done and we just did, right? And so we kind of have to look at, well, what is it? What's new? What's going to provide something that might be a little new or something we haven't done in a while? And what's also going to maybe capture multiple requests, right, from users, not just one, right? What's going to capture multiple themes? And so, one of the things that came up a number of times in the past two webinars is like, how do I get buy-in, right? How do I get people to use Cloverleaf? How do I get, people, how do I make it stick? But also, how do I make it stick? How do I get them to actually take the assessments? And then there was a lot of things around, like, I want to help, teams communicate better. I want to help teams collaborate better. I want to navigate with my team, right? There's a lot of team questions. So we wanted to also create some team cohesion opportunities as well. And we also know we're moving. I know we're not there yet, right? We're like a minute away from, we're like 1 minute away from the after the holidays. We're like about a minute away from, oh, we'll deal with that after the holidays. We'll circle back after the holidays, right? So we're like 1 minute away from saying that, right? So we're entering into this time where teams have an opportunity to do a little bit of a reset. And so we want to give, whether you're an internal, whether you're a manager of a team, or maybe you're an individual contributor on a team and you want to suggest this to your leader. Maybe you're an HR or a talent leader and you want to be able to offer something to leaders to do to reset with their teams. Maybe you're an external practitioner and you are working with teams and you want to offer sort of a reset opportunity for your teams for the new year, or a look back, or sort of a retro look back with teams, and you want to offer them an opportunity to work on something for the end of the year. There's many different ways you could position this. So I had designed a 30-day challenge a while back with some older features of our product. And so I redesigned the Cloverleaf 30-day challenge with some of our newer features. Well, obviously, Cloverleaf Discover, this magical feature of Cloverleaf, which truly is a game changer. So we try to really create this webinar with that in mind. So what are we going to talk about today? So we're going to take a quick poll to figure out who's here first. Then Peggy's going to make a quick announcement with another opportunity for teams. Then we're going to talk about the common questions that come up, right? How do we drive Cloverleaf engagement and buy-in, right? What are those questions that come up for people? And then we'll share this new design Cloverleaf challenge, the 30-day challenge, why a challenge and what is it? We'll talk also about positioning, how managers can position it, how different circumstances that might be good to use it for, how it works. And then if you don't like it, I've actually given you instructions of how to create a custom challenge. If you're like, this doesn't quite work for me, but I want to use a variation about it, I've given you a layout for creating a custom challenge. So we'll talk about it. We'll discuss it. We're not saying every framework is perfect, right? And so we'll have questions. We'll tell you about the next webinar. Just in terms of the date, you get to give feedback, so you can share how you'd like to shape that. And then you'll give some feedback through to maybe suggest some topics for that. All right. So before we go any further, before I welcome Peggy, tell us, we have to do our poll. So can you put up our poll, Jason? Just answer this question for us. Tell us, are you a senior or C-suite talent leader, learning leader? Are you a director or a manager level talent or learning leader? Are you a manager of a team? Are you an individual contributor, or are you a coach or a consultant? So let us know what best describes you. title or role best describes you? Just click one of those. Would help us out. All right, great. So we have, I think we have a good representation there. You can end the poll there. Jason, I think we're good. Okay, good. So we have managers are the biggest population here, followed by individual contributors. And we have a tie between director level managers, director level talent leaders and coaching consultants. Good. And not far behind are senior talent level learning leaders. Excellent. Okay. So welcome to the webinar stage, my colleague and just one of my all around favorite humans, Peggy Mariner, our senior applied coaching content consultant. Peggy, what would you like to share with this wonderful, fabulous group today?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. I love getting to pop in on your webinars, and we have been cooking something over the past year to help teams work better together. And like most teams this year, it has been a year full of change and growth and learning new things. And that change has been at an unbelievably fast pace. It's been wild. And organizations need some help equipping their individuals to better manage their own personal development and practice resilience. They need their teams to be building trust in the midst of this like disruptive change that we have seen externally and internally. And also they want to be developing their leaders with their systems. And they need help to do that. So we started offering Cloverleaf services, how you can do all of those things just by using Cloverleaf, the different tools. And there's been a lot of innovation inside of Cloverleaf in the past year as well. So we are offering 2 new workshops that are specific to this time of year, and we're offering them at 10% off if you book in 25, even if you're using them in 26. And they are not generic planning sessions. They are built on Cloverleaf data and tools. So we are using all of the features inside of Cloverleaf to help drive performance with engagement and joy. Because when you get to use who you are and the strengths that you have, it can increase your joy in your work. So we've got a retro, which says, what did you do this year? What worked? What didn't? What lessons have you learned? So you can plan for your 26 goals, not bringing last year's challenges into the new year. And then our strengths-based goal workshop, that is helping you to look at your team dashboard, and you are strategizing what strengths you can leverage to achieve your goals. And that is to build more energizing and results-driven kind of practices for each of the individuals on your team. So our clients, one of our media clients said that they had an annual review, and this was not just this ended up being not a strategic session for them, but it was also like a morale booster. And at the end of the year, their employees said it was the best thing of their year. So that was a surprise for them and a huge excitement for us. And then I also spoke with a manager this week who used one of the sessions to learn new tools. He was surprised by a reduction in force this month. And as he was meeting with his team one-on-one, he just wanted to be a good leader for them. So he used some of the resources he learned, mostly Discover, and putting in searches like, how can I help my team manage this change? And what he would have done is shown up providing them a solution and a plan, which is what he wants when things change. And what he did instead, having learned something new, was he listened to them and he acknowledged their concerns. So he actually left the meeting going, I don't know if I did a good job. I just want to be a good leader to them. And he got an email later that week that said, thank you so much for our time. I've been able to have space to think about how this could even be good for our team and help us to be more agile and nimble at this new size. So what could have been destructive or repetitive, having the same conversation again and again, he was actually able to build trust in that change and get alignment on his team. So instead of cycling for weeks with overwhelm and confusion, they were able to come back together and commit to their goals in this new circumstance. So that felt like a huge victory, learning and applying things that he'd picked up over the past month. And this is a small investment. It's just 1 to 2 hours, but it can pay huge dividends with clarity and alignment for your teams, especially as you're wanting to finish strong or kick off in a new direction in Q1. So if anyone is interested, we have form to fill out, and Jason's going to drop that in the chat. Thank you. And I'll follow up with you if you have any questions. I think I've said question before I hop off. You can put that into chat as well.
Yeah, so if you're interested in just learning more about any of these workshop opportunities, just fill out this form. Is super brief. It's just putting your name, your organization, your email, super, super quick. Just fill out that form and then Peggy will reach out to you. So if you can just, if you're interested in learning more, just that interest form is in the chat. Maybe you need to just have that quick team building touch point. You want to leverage Cloverleaf. All your information is already in there. This is just a great opportunity to work directly with Peggy. So if you're interested, and just fill that out, and super quick. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for stopping by, Peg.
Yeah, I love the topic today because I think even about the example of the manager who was having to deal with reduction in force, it was such a small shift that he was using, how can I help this person through change? And he was getting different responses, and he would not have engaged in a different practice. And so it was just asking the question was his small shift. And it really did change his relationships and dynamics on his team. So I love the topic, and I think it is totally actionable. And I saw Libby saying, yes, I want to make it simple. And I think it can be. Good. All right. I'm out of here.
Thanks.
Go be brilliant. Thank you so much for letting me join.
Yay.
Bye.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we're going to dive right into our contents. So I know that many questions have come up on recent webinars about gaining buy-in or having trouble with getting people to even take their assessments in the first place. So I'm going to go through some of these statements and I'm going to ask you, have you heard or asked or heard something similar? How do I get people to actually use Cloverleaf, not just taking an assessment and forget it? What makes this more valuable than other tools or platforms we've tried, right? Maybe someone's asked you that. How do I get my team to see the relevance of the insights in their daily work? Will my team feel this is helpful or just another HR initiative? How do I build buy-in with skeptical managers or team members? Oops, sorry. So how many of you have asked or heard something similar to this? You've either asked this or you've heard somebody ask you this. Maybe something like this. Yes. Leslie says yes. I have. Tim says yes. So yeah, if you have a question, you can pop it in the chat. You can pop it in the chat. Yes, absolutely. Yes. So we have a lot of agreement here. Oh yeah. Jeff says, oh yeah. Is there anything else you've heard along these lines, but that's a little bit different? You can also pop it in the chat. Libby shared, it feels like another to do because they haven't experienced the value. So true. What Libby just shared is called like a blind spot. It's like, I don't know what I don't know, right? Because the thing is, most people have taken an assessment before, but what they don't realize is that Cloverleaf is not your grandfather's disc assessment, right? So it's not really the same, right? It's not the same as taking an assessment and just getting a report. So they kind of think, oh, I've done that before, right? It's that, yes, they don't know what they don't know. It lives in their blind spot. It's kind of, it's hidden from their view. Once people see Cloverleaf, I mean, I've been using Cloverleaf now for over 5 years, right? So when I first show someone Cloverleaf, their eyes widen. They're like, wow, I've never seen anything like this before, right? So yeah, it's short. Like, look, it's the thing is that it takes a minute or two to use Cloverleaf in a day, right? It does not like it's something that you have to, it's not a course you have to take. It's not a video that you have to watch. It's not a book you have to read. It's not, it's like once you take the assessments, you're done, right? The assessments are literally just, it's one and done. You take it and it's done. It's just put the gas in the car, right? And so once you're done, right? It's just like getting them to take the assessments is like what makes it work. It's like just put the foundation on the house and then we can build it, right? So these are typical things that people may say. And so that's why we kind of built, that's why we redesigned the Cloverleaf 30-day challenge. Okay. So why a challenge and what is it? So it's a micro learning experience. It's not a meeting. It's not a task. It's not a training program. Okay. And so it's a challenge to use Discover maybe 2 to 3 times a week. What does that mean? That maybe will take 5 minutes. So we're not asking someone to go to a conference. We're not asking someone to go to a half-day training. It's maybe 5 minutes. What we're asking people to do is 5 minutes, right? Maybe 10 minutes maximum. This is like a crazy thing. Okay, so it builds the muscle of reflection, communication, and team collaboration, right? So we're building the muscle of how can we better connect with each other. It creates these quick behavior shifts, right? To be able to better work together, right? It's also a way that we can create shared accountability. You get people into Cloverleaf. The thing is, if you don't create accountability around something, it's like saying, I'm going to go to the gym. Maybe. I'm going to start counting calories. Kind of. I'm going to start, tracking my steps, but I'm going to do it in my head. I'm going to count my steps in my head. It's not going to work, right? You need something to hold you accountable. You need a tool. You need a structure. You need a container, okay? So I want to just give you some use cases and some positioning. So this could be a team kickoff, like maybe you're having, or an onboarding situation where you're onboarding some new team members, or you're doing some kind of team offsite and you're bringing everybody together and you want to build trust faster through some kind of collaboration, through some shared kind of insights that you're going to share together. Maybe you've had some kind of change or a reorganization or an acquisition, and you want to create some kind of alignment and you need to do that quickly. There's been some kind of change organizationally and you want to create some kind of cohesion. Maybe there's been some friction. Maybe you need what Peggy was sharing with that team, you need a morale boost. You want to improve shared understanding and you want to improve people working together in a more positive way. Maybe it's just everybody just took the assessments and you want to move from, okay, we just took the assessments, now what? Because you want to move from, okay, we just onboarded and you want to make sure people use the tool. Maybe you're preparing for a big high stakes quarter project and you want, or you're something that's like high pressure and you want to avoid a lot of friction before you approach a big project or initiative, or a big, maybe you're in an industry where a certain quarter may have a particularly higher stakes attached to it than others, right? So if you were to say which one of these would make more sense which use case would make more sense for you, given what you do or who you work with? Which one of these use cases might make more sense? And, or if you see another one that would make more sense for this challenge, what would it be? So pop it in the chat. Which use case might make more sense for you? And if there's another one that I haven't said, what makes the most sense? Okay, good. After completing the assessments. Okay, good. Preparing for the high stakes quarter. Okay, good. Any others? Okay, Jeff said 1 and 2. Okay, good. Team kickoffs or onboarding. Okay, good. Okay, good. So Aaliyah shared after completing the assessments or preparing for the high stakes quarter. Or project kickoffs. That's great. Leah, that's good. So that's good. Team kickoffs or onboarding after completing the assessments. 1 and 5, 1 and 2. Okay, good. 1 and 3. Okay, good. So you can find yourself in some of these. Good. Excellent. Okay, good. I want to just make sure this is relevant. If there's anyone, okay, good. Libby says as a consultant, she can see how each one of these is important. Awesome. Good. I want to make sure these are relevant to you, to what you do, or the people that you work with. Also, if there's other ones that I'm not seeing, I like the project kickoff also. If there's anyone, perfect time to kick off 2026. That's great, Dion. Yes, as we're sort of heading into a new year, maybe we've set new business goals. Maybe the company has set new business goals, and we have to align our team goals with those business priorities as well. Okay. Awesome. All right. So how a leader can position it. Hey, listen, this is a way for our team to communicate better. This is how we collaborate better. Small, consistent reflection. Listen, I'm not going to send you to a 3-day course. I'm not going to make you go watch 42 trainings, right? And again, look, I'm a trainer. I sell training for a living. I'm not knocking training. Okay. I'm not. Okay. So for those of you that are trainers, and I'm not out there to do that, right? I'm just saying, listen, for right now, this is something small that we can do. Okay. Training is valid. Training is valuable. But if you are really busy, if you are in a high stakes quarter, you might not have time to send your whole team to training. So this is something we're going to do for the next few weeks. This is not a lot of extra work. This is just how we can help each other work together better. I'm not going to make you, again, I'm not sending you to a week-long certification, right? We're going to each take 5-10 minutes a few times a week to reflect using Cloverleaf Discover, right? And it might be 5-10 minutes total for the week. It could be total. I'm giving you like the maximum. Okay. The goal is that you increase your own self-awareness, but we also increase our other awareness. We learn how to work together better. We're going to then tie in what we're learning to feedback we're giving, meetings we're having with other people, how we solve problems with each other, right? We're going to make it relevant to what we're dealing with. I'm not going to go send you to a generic, make you read a generic book about something and say, well, how do you apply that to working with Sue? I'm going to have you literally learn about how do I work with Sue in 60 seconds. Okay. And at the end of the month, we're going to reflect back as a team on what we learned. Let's just see. We're going to experiment. Okay. You don't need to prepare anything. We already have the tool. You just show up. Be curious. All I need is your curiosity and your willingness. That's all I need. You don't have to watch a video. You don't have to read a book. You don't have to read a PDF. You don't have to read an article. You don't have to write a reflection. You don't have to write something. You don't have to write a paper, nothing. Okay. So can you see that this is like low stakes? It's like low barrier to entry. Can you see this is like low barrier to entry in terms of what people actually have to do? And I'll show you how it works, but the framing of this is letting people know nothing's going to take you away from your email box or your day-to-day work. Okay. So how does it work? You could create a team calendar reminder 2 to 3 mornings a week for like a 5-minute block, 10-minute or 5-minute block. You could do that. You don't have to do that. You could ask everyone to schedule 5 minutes on their own calendar with 2 days a week as a reminder. You could, you don't have to. Okay. But you're going to encourage team members to use Discover in the flow of their real work, especially when preparing for or coming up upon common workplace scenarios. Now, by the way, this is all labeled. This whole thing is all right here. Okay. So I just want to make sure it's clear. Okay. It's all right here. Now, what you're going to do though, is you're going to presence. So you have to do this in a team meeting. You're going to presence the sample scenarios where you could use Cloverleaf. So I just want to let you know something. This is an absolute true thing. As of Tuesday, I have facilitated no less than a dozen workshops on having challenging conversations and managing conflict. No less than a dozen in 30 days in all different industries, completely different industries. It is the most requested topic. Many of those clients were using Cloverleaf as well. Okay. You cannot imagine this, how rampant this topic is these challenging conversations. And mostly it's with people that clash with each other. There is something about their two communication styles that is clashing. Okay. So most often it is going to be having a challenging conversation. And I want to show you here. I've given you a sample prompt. So for example, I'm going to just copy this, right? So I'm going to copy this right here. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go right into Discover. Okay. So I'm going to go right here. How might my style impact how feedback is received by Noor? Okay. So I'm just going to go and type that right here. So you're asking like, now I have to give feedback to Noor, and this could absolutely happen. How might my style impact how feedback is received by Noor? That's all you're asking. So you're checking it. Like, I know I have to give feedback to this person, but you're checking your own behavior tendencies, your own leadership style. Your direct style meets Noor's need for warmth, right? It tells me how I tend to, but by the way, this is the demo account, right? So it tells me about my specific feedback, right? Now, it also is giving me specific questions. How can I balance my directness with Noor's desire for warmth? This is actually a better, more direct question. So I'm going to click on that. I want to balance my directness, my style, with Noor's desire for warmth. Now, we may say to ourselves, time for this, let's have a conversation. I'm sorry. That's mediocre communication 101. People, we do not have time in 2025 to be having mediocre conversations. That is the way that you get into trouble in situations in the workplace. That's the way you create conflict. That's the way you create friction. That is the way you slow productivity. And that is the way you slow profitability. If you want to have extraordinary conversations, you cannot go in by the seat of your pants all the time, and neither can your leaders, and neither can your people. I'm sorry, I'm going to give it to you really straight. Okay. You can't afford any longer to just say, I'm just going to say what I want to say, and I really don't care. Nobody can afford to communicate like that any longer in 2025. So if you take 30 seconds to do this and says you tend to give feedback that's honest and specific, Noor is more likely to act when the input feels warm, personal, and rooted in trust. Now, that might not be in your nature. You might not be a warm and fuzzy person. I can't turn you into a warm and fuzzy person. However, these are some suggestions and actions you could take. Before sharing critique, pause to express what you value in Noor's work. This is telling you how to get what you need and how to win with Noor. If you want Noor to accept the feedback, you've got to talk to Noor, not talk to another version of you. We often give feedback the way we want to receive it, not the way the other person would have received it. Okay. We've got to realize that that is genuine, authentic, and intentional communication. I know many of you know that. I know some people that maybe that you're helping don't always know that, right? So we've got to impress upon people, if your company is investing in this tool and they are not using it, it is the equivalent of working with a financial advisor, giving them your money and only using the cash account and not investing in growth. Okay. This is the return on the investment in Cloverleaf, in saying, I'm now going to actually use 30 seconds where I'm going to now use a certain approach in my conversation with Nora. This isn't giving you a script. It's giving you 3 tips on how to have a better conversation with Nora. Okay. So I'm not going to go through all of these, but if you look here, you're going to see these are common scenarios. So and it's giving you a specific prompt. Okay. It's giving you an idea to tell you how you might prepare. Okay. Yes, Anita, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Now, Anita, I know where that's from. I know where that's from. I know exactly where that's from. Yes, we get curious before you get furious. This is my new little quote. Get curious before you get furious, right? Seek first to understand. Really try to understand who the person is, and that's how you will be able to communicate powerfully with people. Okay. That customization, you will win every time with customization. So preparing for one-on-one coaching, right? Yes, Anita, it is very practical. If you're an HR business partner, you're a talent leader, and you're having a one-on-one coaching conversation, use it for that, sharing an idea or giving feedback. Maybe you have to plan or lead a meeting or co-lead a meeting with somebody. Maybe you have to reflect after a high stakes situation. So I want to hear from a few of you, given what you do and in your situations, what are some other common workplace scenarios where you might suggest people use Discover, right? Where it's some common workplace situations. Yes, Kim, it's another good piece of advice. Listen with the intent to understand, not with the intent to reply. Most humans are listening, waiting to speak, not listening to understand. What are some other situations that you might, like if you were going to do this challenge, right, that you might say, hey, you use Discover for this? What are some other scenarios that maybe I didn't mention that you might say, use Cloverleaf for this? And then I'm going to give you a magic link with lots of prompts. Actually, Jason's going to give it to you. Jason's going to give you a magic link. Oh, yes. Awesome. Being added to a cross-functional team. That's great. Maybe you have to, all of a sudden you're going to work with somebody different than you. Awesome. Connecting with stakeholders, learning more about a new leader on a team. Great. I just started working with Noor. I don't know her work, how she likes to inspect work. Please help me understand. How should I ask for feedback? Right? You can say anything in here. Right? You could say absolutely anything. Preparing for a conversation with a superior that I don't know well. Right? I newly started reporting to this person. I have to have a conversation. Are they formal? Are they going to want me to be more conversational or more formal? Right? Exactly. You can say and ask absolutely anything. That's great, Lisa. Great, Dion, right? We're learning more about this new leader. What's their style? Do they, are they going to be want more reporting on goals and metrics? Are they going to want me to have more autonomy? Are they going to give me more autonomy? How are they going to lead me? Okay. Excellent. These are all great ideas. So Jason, could you share the magic link in the chat? I'm going to put it on the screen. So this magic link is actually a search in Cloverleaf called Discover Prompts. And what it gives you are these first 3 searches. Okay, so this is Discover Prompts for partners. So I wrote these for our partners, but they are very valuable to you too. So this is like for one-on-one coaching, if you're doing team coaching, these are all different types of prompts. It's the magic link. This is like, I tested all these prompts. This is middle managers. Like, how does my personality influence how I handle competing priorities? Like, these were all different, amazing prompts. Then there's also solving people problems, Discover Prompts for managers. You can look at those prompts. Look at that. Motivation and engagement issues, communication challenges. Then, there's also Discover Prompts anyone can use to grow every day. I need to have a difficult conversation. I want to get more from my one-on-ones with my manager. I'm having trouble collaborating with my teammates, starting a new role or joining a new team. I want to grow, but I'm not sure how, right? So you have a magic link here. You should bookmark this link because this link gives you hundreds of prompts that you could share inside this challenge to help people use this challenge. Okay. Now, what you could do, because you're going to say you're going to commit to it for a month, you could, during team meetings or one-on-ones along the way, you could invite team members to share an insight or reflection and influence their behavior or their mindset that week, something they tried, maybe how they applied Discover to a recent scenario. These are some sample discussion questions. They're all in your resource. Hey, how did using Discover change maybe how you did something this week? What surprised you about your reaction or your teammates? Is there any kind of adjustment that you made as a result? Okay, so you could do that in a team meeting along the way. Now, at the end of the month, there's a little debrief here for you. You can use these questions for a final group reflection. Okay, so there's some questions here. How did it go, right? Is there a scenario like maybe where you found Discover most valuable, right? Yeah, it was definitely the feedback. Is there any insight that you have about yourself or the team? How do we want to continue using Discover moving forward and why? Like, is there any kind of accountability that we want to put around it? And what might change over the next 6 to 12 months if we maintain this as a practice, right? So this is like a little debrief you can do at the end. Okay. I want to just pause here for questions, and then I'm going to show you the custom challenge sort of facilitation. Any questions or any ways you could see this could be helpful? Any questions, comments, insights, anything at all? You can pop it in the chat. Wonderfully helpful. We seek to be wonderfully helpful, Jeff. If you think about a team or you think about people in your organization, what do you see could be the result of this? If you really see like how this could work. And again, I'll show you the custom piece if you think it's too over-engineered. It's possible. It's possible. Sometimes our observations don't always match, right, with what we see. It is possible. Sometimes, and we don't always know, we can give feedback about what we see about another person. We can give feedback on the coaching tips. So just remember that, right? If you're in Cloverleaf, you can, when you're in, let me just go back to Discover. And like if you get a daily coaching, and you read something about someone, you can say this feels off. So you can give feedback. I just want to make sure that that's clear. So yeah, so here's the thing. We've got to get people to take the assessments, right? So the way that you hold people accountable is the continuing to mention it throughout the month, right? And so you have the conversations and you could let people know, hey, in our team meeting for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be asking you to share how this is going. So you let people know, you create the positive social pressure, you let people know you're going to be asking them, right? So I work with a remote team. I think it'll be helpful if we make this more top of mind on a daily basis, right? So bring it up on one-on-one. So you have to create some you have to hold people accountable. That's the whole thing, is like, you can't just say, let's do it, I'll talk to you at the end of the month. You have to, the whole key piece is bringing it up in the meetings and asking people to share and let people know, hey, I'm going to just be kind of randomly asking people how it's going. So, and then one-on-ones, let people know, hey, I'm going to be asking you how you're using it. Here's the thing. If people are causing friction on a team and then they're not using Cloverleaf to help do that, it's kind of like, okay, I'm giving you a tool to help you. And then you're telling me you're experiencing all this friction and then you're possibly the cause of it. And you're not using these tools to help you work better with people. It's kind of like, where are we going to go from there? Like you have to then use some of these tools to kind of help yourself work better with people. Okay. Good. That's good. It's a good call out, Libby. So she's talking about encouraging leaders to learn about their teams and do the discovery session on what they learned to validate is indeed accurate. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes also, sometimes our observation may be in the context of a certain relationship, right? And so sometimes going deeper into the team in a team session does help as well. That's good call out. Okay. So I want to go into the custom challenge piece. Again, you can create a custom challenge. This is all outlined in your resource here. So you can start with the purpose. So you can say, how would our team benefit from more self and team awareness? So start a conversation, right? And then share some examples. So maybe you know a couple of people on the team who are already bought into Cloverleaf. So ask them, hey, how has Cloverleaf been working for you? And have them share how that's impacted them. And then position Cloverleaf as a practical tool. Remind them, development doesn't always need to be formal training. This is just something you can use really quickly. Just have it up, have it open with alongside your email. It's something you can just quickly type in, like you would type in Google, like you would type in ChatGPT, like quick. Okay. Like you would go into your email. Okay. And then demo the discover, right? So you remember you have that magic link with all of these prompts, right? So demonstrate it and show all the different things that they could use it for. I like to even use some humor. I like to say things like, I am so frustrated. Tariq, Tariq just will never meet deadlines. I am at the end of my rope. So I like to sometimes be funny about it. Like you can say, you can just vent in here. It's 9:00 at night and Tariq was supposed to send you something by EOD and it didn't come in, right? So Tariq will just never meet deadlines. I am at the end of my rope. Like you can come in here, oh, whoops, something went wrong. So, I am really frustrated. Tariq never meets the deadlines I set for them. Okay. Let's just say that. I'm really frustrated. Tariq never meets the deadlines I set for them. Maybe the end of the rope didn't make sense. So, okay. So it says so this is again, this is not actually me. So it's a demo account. You tend to treat promises as firm commitments. So if someone says something, I say they mean it. And so when deadlines aren't met, it feels personal to me. So I expect follow through. Okay. So this is going to be really frustrating to me. This obviously is going to be challenging for me if Tariq doesn't do what they said they would do. So now it's telling me how to apply it, saying start your meeting deadline by asking Tariq to walk me through their current process for starting and finishing the work. So I want to make sure I understand the process before I just say, okay, have a nice day, do it by the 10th. If a commitment slips, express your frustration early and directly using simple language rather than holding on to it until I snap. Invite Tariq to help set smaller, earlier checkpoints together so missteps are caught before the final deadline. Now, when I work with people I work with a lot of coaching clients who really struggle with people that don't meet deadlines. And I say, look, it's not micromanaging to say, hey, let's set a checkpoint instead of hacking people and being like, are you done? What's going on? That's micromanaging. It's not micromanaging to say, hey, let's set a check-in meeting, a 15-minute check-in meeting a week from now, just to see where you're at. That's not micromanaging. What's micromanaging is constantly messaging and emailing people, asking where they're at, okay? If you set up checkpoints ahead of time where people feel they have to have something to show you by that date, that's not micromanaging. If you know that people have a hard time with a hard deadline, that's what you want to do here, right? So this is where you can come in and really set up people for success, okay? So demo, discover, identify real use cases like I just did that's in this resource right up here. So make sure that you do that. You have all of that up here. Still do that. Set a cadence. Hey, what's a realistic number of days per week we can commit to using Discover and agree on the time frame? And then plan on the reflection. Decide how you'll assess the impact. And there is some sample reflection questions right here. And then reconnect to the why, right? So make sure that you close by restating the benefit of the commitment and say how long you'll do it. Okay, so that's kind of, if you want to do a custom challenge, you can do it that way too, if you don't want to do the exact thing that I set up. Okay. Also, this doesn't have to come from a manager. Any team member that's really passionate about growth can lead this conversation too. Okay. So any questions or ideas that this is sparking for you? Any questions or ideas? Any questions or ideas? Questions or ideas that this is sparking for you? Questions or ideas? No questions? No questions? Well, the good part is you get to do whatever you want with this. Good, yes. I'm glad, Anita, this is helpful with the accountability. Again, you can morph this. You don't have to use this in the exact format. You can morph this. You can say, hey, here's a format. We can change it. Like, you don't have to use this exactly as it's designed. You can take this and rip it apart and do whatever you see fit with this. You can take this resource however it works for you and your organization or a client that you're working with. Okay. Before we move into our feedback, Jason, if you would drop our feedback link in the chat, we'd love to hear your feedback. If you want to influence the next topic of the next webinar, we have our feedback link in the chat, and the next webinar will be on Thursday, December 4th at 12 p.m. Lisa, thank you for sharing that. Yes, the more you use the tool for your own development, it actually gives you great testimonials and great stories to tell. So use it for yourself as well. I use it all the time. Definitely use it. It's super helpful. But if you would give us your feedback about today, it would greatly help us to shape more learning experiences. So if you want to shape the webinar on this day, grab the link in the chat right now. We'll fill this out together. Let us know, are you a coach, partner of Cloverleaf, or are you with an organization that has an account? Okay, so let us know what best describes you. And let us know, as we did before, the title that best describes you. Okay. And let us know the company that you work for. And then tell us, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the web value of today? What was your most valuable takeaway or insight from today's webinar? How accountability around Cloverleaf might really make a difference with getting people to see the value of the tool, right? If you had to pick the most important topic you would want addressed in a future webinar, what one topic would you pick? How to use Discover to prepare for performance reviews. Okay, so you could say that if you want, if it's a topic that's really top of mind for you. What's a problem or situation that Discover helped you or a teammate navigate recently? So maybe it wasn't you, maybe someone else told you, hey, I used Discover and oh my gosh, it really helped me prepare for this difficult conversation, right? So I could say Discover recently helped me help a client give better feedback to a direct report. Okay. What's the single biggest problem that Cloverleaf helps you solve? Okay. This may help teams grow and develop. and then any other additional feedback. Okay. Okay. And then just submit that to us, and that'll help us. Jason and I sit with this information, and that's how we, again, plan these learning experiences for you to bring you opportunities to help the people that you work with every day. Awesome. Any other questions? We have a few more minutes. If anybody has any other questions about anything that you want to pop in the chat, we have a few more minutes if you want to ask anything at all. Thank you. Thank you, Anita, for being here. Thank you, Libby. Great. Thank you, Kim. So yes, so Julia, this the resource that we shared, the video will be embedded most likely by tomorrow at the latest. The video from this will be embedded at the top of that resource. And so yeah, so this resource right here, the video will be embedded in there at the top. Okay. And we will send a follow-up email too. Usually tomorrow I'll send a follow-up email. Okay. All right. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. We hope to see you next month at in our December webinar. And have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend too. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.